Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tribulation Institute. My name is Jeff Forster. I am your host today, which is the 4th day of October, 2022. Been a year so far, ain't it? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. See this chart behind me back here? It's a chart of the book of Revelation, starting with the opening of the first seal, the birth pangs, through the 7 seals, and then the 7 trumpets and vials, which is the Great Tribulation. And the rapture and resurrection coming at the end of immediately after tribulation. So my topic today is I want to talk about the 10 horns on that beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. You know, that beast that rises up out of the sea. 10 horns. It says the 10 horns are 10 kings. So, you go, what does that have to do with today, Jeff? Well, seems to me like some boundaries are going to be redrawn. You know, like the boundaries were redrawn at the end of World War II, when Russia, Great Britain, and the United States sat down and divvied up, changed all the borders over there in the Middle East. I guess you'd say Eastern Europe. Anyway, that's going on right now today. Back in 1965, I believe it was, the year doesn't matter because it's changed a couple times and maybe more by now. But the point being is that the United Nations, back in 1965, I believe, they drew a map of the world and divided it into 10 regions. 10 regions, 10 horns of the beast, this one world order, United Nations, one world, United Nations, without borders, without boundaries, to be controlled at the head of one person. Today that'd be the Secretary General. General, there's a reason they call him General. Just like we call ours President Commander-in-Chief. They command in armies. So in this case, in the end times, the armies would be not just armies from each nation of the world donating their armies, but all the armies of all separate nations would become the one world army, not just one world government, which they divided the world up into 10 regions. Those are 10 economic regions that would have their own monetary system. And they wouldn't even trade outside that system because they're going to say, well, we've proved that having, all your goods coming from one country, such as China, if you were America or some other countries, that later on you seem to disagree on some things and want to go to war. That makes it pretty bad on the rest. But we're going to do away with wars, United Nations. No more wars. How can you have wars between nation states if there's not any nation states? And it'll be put forth by them that it is the best thing. Like we've tried everything else. This is what we think is going to work. It's called the Great Reset, the Global Reset. You know, the World Economic Forum. Economic. That word there again. So the 10 economic regions that this one world government, the United Nations, has divided the world into, and they will have 10 kings. You know, the Bible says in Revelation that there are 10 kings that have no kingdom yet, but receive power 1 hour with the beast. So when this beast arises, well, the beast is already there. It's the United Nations, right? But it's not in its latter end form that will come out of World War III, when the boundaries, especially over in Europe, Russia, Eastern Europe, goes back probably to the USSR. If you look at one of the maps, it shows that Russia is back to its the boundaries, so to speak, of the Soviet Union. Why? Because it's going to be one region unto itself. The European Union will be one region unto itself. The American Union, that'd be Canada, United States, and Mexico, being one economic union. China would be one economic union, probably to it does engulf Japan, the Korea Islands, so forth, so on. So, what we're witnessing right now today in 2022, the 4th day of October, is you're watching these world events in all directions, geopolitical, economic, so forth and so on. You're watching them escalate. You're watching them get to the point where World War III. And at the end of World War III, which ain't going to last for very long because it's going to be nuclear. And there'll be no more nation states. Why do you think that the President of the United States wants our borders open? Because that's what the United Nations wants. No borders. Only 10 borders redrawn, but only but for economic purposes. But there are no nation states. But they are kingdoms, ruled over by one king over all the kingdoms. And they'll have 10 kings. Let's just take, for instance, the United States. Pharaoh asks you, well, says it won't be the United States anymore. It's going to be Region 1. That's Canada, United States, and Mexico. Okay? Well, but they won't be, it'll just be called Region 1. It won't be in the United States. Because we won't have the same, there will be no borders. There won't be all them states will be given back before colonialism came. To be given back to the French, to the English, to the Indians, to the Russians, and the Mexicans. That's what Obama was put here for. Decolonize the U.S., amongst other things. So my question would be, who do you think would be, since we won't have a president because it won't be the United States, it'd be, but who do you think would be president over Region 1? You think it'd be from Mexico, the U.S., or Canada? Well, I think that decision has already been made. It's going to be one of the presidents of the United States. You want to take a guess? I don't know. Hillary Clinton, maybe? Hey, don't look at me that way. Just a guess. About Obama? Well, I would say he's going back to maybe the Middle East somewhere. I mean, he does believe in Islam. Anyway, so who do you think is going to be the king of the United Nations? Remember, these are economic reasons, World Economic Forum. So I think we're going to have more of a less of a political person that would rule over it. And it would be more along the lines of a person that's good with numbers, good with business, an economic leader. Well, I think we'd all probably agree anybody's got any sense anyway. Look, I'm apolitical. I'm not for Democrats or Republicans. I'm for Yeshua. Come back and set his kingdom up. And put the governments upon his shoulders. But anyway, until that happens, which ain't too far away. Anyway, I think Donald Trump might be a good suspect to rule the United Nations. What do you think? Might want to look at my video. Anyway, look in the description box. You get a link to this chart to see where we're at. The third horse, the fourth horse of the apocalypse, the green horse, is fixing to ride. 1/4 of the earth is going to be killed by the first 3 horses that were released. Pestilence, war, and famine. It adds, and the beast of the earth, 1/4 of mankind shall die. That's where we're at. Anyway, click on I think the video before this one, and who is the Antichrist. Until next time, have a blessed day. God bless.